everyone, George Rambling Man here. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a late May Sunday afternoon here in North Georgia, and I think summer has arrived a little early. It's almost 90 degrees today. I was going to put my jacket on, but I decided just to put this long sleeve shirt on and my high visibility vest, and this feels very comfortable. I was actually supposed to be riding this weekend with John Gilbert and NC Stoney up in western North Carolina and Tennessee, but about a week ago we pulled the plug on that trip because of this ongoing gas problem here in the southeast, with the Colonial Pipeline being shut down for a while, and we were just worried that we were not going to be able to get gas out in the country somewhere. And it's slowly starting to get better. We'd probably been okay, but we decided to reschedule that trip, and we've put it off till this fall, which is disappointing because the weather is perfect. I mean, it's a little bit warm, but I'm sure up in the mountains it's probably cooler, and I'm disappointed to say the least. But glad to be out today on my Heritage Classic. Had this bike for about 3 months now, and the more I ride it, the more I love it. I wanted to share with you today one of my latest upgrades. I know I said in some previous videos I was kind of done spending money on it, and of course I was not terribly truthful there, because I have spent some more money on it, and I'll go into that in a minute. But what I've done is done a stage 1 upgrade to it, put some slip-on mufflers on, and did the tuning. And this bike has a high-flow air filter already. The 114 already has a high-flow air filter, so I didn't have to do that. But I took it in for a couple of weeks ago for its 1,000-mile initial service. And as I was kind of meandering around the dealership, I stopped at the parts counter, was talking to the girl there, and kind of asking her in the future, if I decide to go with some slip-ons, can I just order them through Harley and get them shipped directly there? And she said yes. And she said, as a matter of fact, for your bike, we have a set of Vance Hines Eliminator 300s in stock. I think maybe somebody ordered them and then decided not to take them. And I said, well, that's interesting, because that's one of the brands that I was considering. And she says, I'll make you a little bit of a deal on these. And it was a little bit of a deal. I got them for $420, and I think they sell for $440 on most online places and through Vance and Hines. So, you know what, I just decided to do it. So I bought them, and went back and talked to the service guy, and I says, look, I know you're just doing this basic oil change and this 1,000-mile service, but I just bought these slip-on mufflers. Would you put them on for me? And how much would you charge? And he said, well, are you going to do a tune on it as well? And I said, oh, I don't think so. I don't really think I need to. And he started talking to me, and bottom line is, make a long story short, he talked me into it. So I went back and bought the Screaming Eagle Pro Street Tuner, which they also had in stock. That was $299. And he told me that he would put the slip-ons on the bike for me and do the tuning for an hour's worth of their labor, which is $120. So I quickly did some math in my head, being the engineer that I am. Said, how much is this going to cost me? So I added it all up, and so for right around $900, I'm getting the full stage 1 slip-on mufflers and the tuning with the Pro Street Tuner. And like I said, I already had the high capacity air cleaner. So I thought, $900, yeah, that's a lot of money. And maybe it doesn't really need to be tuned, but he told me if I use the Harley-Davidson Pro Street tuner, that it would not affect the warranty, and if I used another brand, you know, it would. So, and he said, you know, if you bring the bike in for service and you've used a different tuner and we hook our computers up to it, we'll be able to tell that. So I just did it, and so he had to keep the bike an extra day to do all this, but they did, and they put them on. And I'm going to show you a little kind of before and after right now of the stock pipes and how they sound, and then a little short video of the new Vance Hines Eliminator 300s and how they sound. These are the stock pipes. You know, I may put some slip-ons on at some point in the future, but I'm not really anxious to do that right away. You know, it sounds decent to me. These are the Vance Hines Eliminator 300s slip-ons that I've put on my motorcycle. They're 3-inch diameter, and they look really sharp. Let me start the bike up and let you see what it sounds like. So there you go. I think it's you know, it's a great sound to me. It's a nice deep low rumble, especially when I'm out here on the road at speed. I don't know if you can tell a difference on this video if the GoPro's picking up anything as I go down the road, but it's a really nice low rumble, and I love it. It's just the sound I was looking for. Not quite as loud as the Cobra exhaust I had on my Boulevard, but that's okay. You know, a little bit less noise is better, actually, I think. But it just sounds great, and I think it was money well spent. So if you have the Heritage Classic in the 114, you know, it's probably going to cost you, you know, depending on which slip-ons you buy and whether you do the work yourself or get the dealer to do it, it's going to be in that probably $700 to $1,000 price range to get it done. Now if you have the 107 and you had to buy a different air cleaner, air filter, you're probably going to spend more, but that's kind of where I ended up. I'm going to throw a picture up of the dyno chart that they gave me after it was all done. And you know, if you're doing a stage one for one of these bikes and you're really expecting a huge difference in torque and horsepower, you're not really going to get it. And here's the dyno chart that they gave me. You may not be able to read it, but let me just kind of tell you what the numbers are. The bike stock was about 110 foot-pounds of torque at about, I don't know, 3,200 RPM. I think the Harley website advertises this bike at 109 foot-pounds of torque, so I was just a little bit better than that with the stock pipes. And after the Vance Hines slip-ons were installed and it got tuned with a Screaming Eagle Pro Street tuner, it's a little above 113 foot-pounds of torque at about 3,300 RPM. So again, doing the quick math, that's just a little over a 2% increase, which is not huge. I really can't tell anything, to be honest with you, other than just the sound. And I think when you're doing a stage one, it's really the sound that you're going after anyway. Horsepower, you know, Harley doesn't really publish any horsepower, but if you look at the chart, it's about a 3% gain in horsepower. So, you know, a little over 2% in torque, a little over 3% in horsepower, and that's what I got. So not a huge amount, nothing really noticeable if you ask me. The thing that's noticeable is obviously the sound. It sounds great, I love it, and I'm glad that I did it. I also like the look of these Vance Hines Eliminator 300s. They are 3-inch diameter. I mean, unless you're really looking at it, you can't even tell these aren't the stock pipes on here. They're chrome, and I think it just fits with the bike. It looks great. I like the Vance Hines quality. I was considering some S&S Grand Nationals and some Reinhardts. They both sounded great as well, but they were a little bit more pricey, and you know, and since the dealer had these Vance and Hines in stock, I just jumped on it. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. This is George, your Ramble Man. So long, everybody.